Hi, happy Sunday again. Before I get to church, I want to keep a promise to myself, read another chapter of my online where I have to be accountable editing of my book. The name of this book is From Your Mouth to God's Ear. This is a proof copy that I've had for months. Thank God I'm getting to it today. Resurrection is in the air. Talking about Les, our main protagonist. Les went to a public school with her friends from her Bronzeville neighborhood, and though she never revealed why she was unceremoniously taken away from the elite Connecticut boarding school, it was always hinted at in her family circle. The hashtag Me Too movement personally was inadequate in her mind to define what had happened. It didn't address the widespread and still mostly hidden abuses suffered every day in the classrooms of America. Her parents intended for their offspring to receive all the accoutrements of being born with their silver spoon in her mouth. Leslie's mother made a fuss about her first and what was to be her only child, her only daughter. They dressed alike even before the term of mother daughter outfits was in the Saks and Nordstrom's stores. Leslie was the princess apparent at all of the birthday parties that she could recall. It was a running joke that for her very first birthday party that there was the pageantry of a royal wedding. Her older cousin recounted the horse rides, bouncy houses, clowns, and the epic displays that she, as a 5-year old, reveled in and dreamt about to this day. Don't you remember, Les? She would gush. It was so pretty. The whole house was decorated, and the lawn. You had on a crown and a white satin dress and satin shoes to match. A whole princess. The talk was that your dad wrote a check for $20,000 for all of it. Les didn't remember, but desired to do so. So she pressed for details. Was I happy? Who else was there? Where are all the pictures? Her cousin always belatedly said, No, you were crying. And you kind of threw up all over your princess cake and ruined your dress too. Leslie's rumination over the years left her still wondering, and it added to her sense of curiosity that she channeled into a purpose of always being the very best student in her class, but even more than that in her school. Her parents weren't surprised, therefore, when the principal and her teacher requested a meeting to discuss her achievements. The principal shook both their hands and invited her parents into her office, where they sat across from each other. Leslie and her teacher were already seated, and the principal began. I'm very glad to see you again, Mr. and Mrs. Treadwell. I want to say that I am very much impressed with your daughter's progress here at our school. Her knowledge and skills acquired in these last 2 years is astounding, which leads me to why I asked you both here. Her parents stated their thank yous for Mrs. Janice's effusive accolades while waiting expectantly for what the gist of the visit was for. Mrs. Janice went into her top drawer and withdrew a couple pamphlets and handed them to her parents. I think that you should consider this school for Leslie. She can reach her full potential there. Leslie's first reaction was to assess her facilities. Her dad looked proud and baffled, and her mother seemed to recoil at the very notion, taking one brief look and pushing the pieces of paper and folders back across the desk, her gloved hands trembling. Leslie uncharacteristically rose from the side of the room and picked up the brochures with an Ivy League photo and the emblazoned "Be All You Can Be." Leafing through the leaflets, she envisioned herself in an integrated school setting. She was 8, but knew that a double from second to fourth grade still lacked the academic vista she saw for herself. Her father was struggling with the idea of wanting what was best and at the same time keeping her safe from the trials of life as long as possible. Her mother, on the other hand, had already made up her mind. She wasn't going. Fumbling with her fur wrap and adjusting her pocketbook on her shoulder and adjusting her purse on her shoulder, she stood and with a "good day" walked away, her heels making staccato noise down the quiet mid-morning hallway of the facility. Mr. Treadwell began apologizing for his wife's abrupt and less than polite exodus. "She's just a bit high strung," he implored. "This is all so sudden that it caught us all by surprise. Please excuse us." Mrs. Janice adjusted her pearls and, stammering that she meant no offense, prepared to explain and illuminate the merits of the proposed school's influence on Leslie's future and the lifelong influential friends and classmates she would meet and rub shoulders with. "The Secretary of State has both her children enrolled here. Even have heard that the Vice President had a granddaughter set to begin in the fall." The teacher had an opportunity to chime in, even as Les took the chair next to her father, eyeing the principal. Up close, Leslie always remembered authority didn't seem as insurmountable and intimidating when up close. The talk swirled around her for a few more minutes between her teacher and the principal, with her father mostly listening. It is not that it could be termed a paradigm shift, but hearing that Fulbright scholars and NASA entry applications and phrases which she attributed to whites only were a part of a vernacular about her academic prowess and future success. During a lull amid the expectant silence, Les said, "I want to go, Dad." She heard a rustle behind her and turned to the image of her mother standing in the door of the office with one black leather gloved hand, a stare of betrayal, and icily wanting to know, "Has anyone seen my other glove?" Thank you for listening. Thank you for your feedback.